Welcome to Women in the Arena podcast, the podcast celebrating women doing extraordinary things in plain sight. I'm your host, Audra Egan, and our mission is to elevate the value, strength, and resilience each woman brings to the world. Without further delay, let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome in, everyone, and thank you for joining me for Season 4 of Women in the Arena podcast. This season, we are going to challenge ourselves. We are going to grow. We're going to stretch. We're going to push ourselves outside our comfort zone, and we're going to do some things that we have been dreaming to do. As I have said before, I may be the one behind the mic, but I don't do this by myself. I do this with all of you. Thank you all for joining me today, and let's go ahead and start the show. Welcome in, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me again this week. This week, you are in for a treat. I am joined by a remarkable woman. I'm joined by Amanda Wittstrom Higgins, and she is a native of Paso Robles, California, and she took her business wits and created a business for her family as well as the families in this town, and built it up to a go-to spot for growing wine. Amongst that, she's also a philanthropist, and she has started an organization called Dream Big, Darling, which invests in young women to reach for the stars, go for their dreams, put action plans behind them, and get them. It is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you Amanda. Amanda, thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome to the show.
Oh my goodness, it's absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for having me, Audra.
I am so excited to have you here because you have done so much. When you and I first started to get to know each other, I didn't know where to start because you're just such a phenomenal person and you contribute your whole self to everything you do. So let's start with your inspiration for building a business in your little agricultural town of Paso Robles.
Oh, well, so the Paso Robles region is in the heart of California. We're about halfway between Los Angeles and San Francisco, about 14 miles to the coast. And growing up, this was just a small town that was really a Passover spot for people traveling from the big cities. And I'm fourth generation from this region. And I'm so blessed that the wine industry really made its way into the heart of our community. And so I'm executive vice president for our family's company, Ancient Peaks Winery, which is an estate owned and operated winery that comes from fruit that is on our Santa Margarita Ranch, along with 3 other families. And I've really just been absolutely and incredibly blessed to showcase this region of Paso Robles and our small community to people around the world through wine, which is one of the most beautiful agricultural products. And the appellation of the region was created just a year after I was born in 1983. And today is really a dynamic region. And I'm so thankful for the entire community, but really the 3 families that own not only our winery, but our vineyard and our ranch, for allowing me and providing such an opportunity to go and tell our story nationally and really to help others. They've been huge proponents and champions of giving back. So I'm really just blessed and thankful.
So it's a real collaboration between these 3 families that have come together and combined their resources to make this beautiful product. And you're a small winery. How do you compete with the others of the world, if I can say this, the Robert Mondavis of the world, and those that are also in the same region? How do you elbow them out and make a name for yourself?
Well, I think the secret of being successful in the wine industry is really having a lot of passion for what you do. And I'm grateful that there's this movement where people really care where their food comes from. And so being a smaller, medium-sized producer, that all of our fruit comes from our estate and from the Paso Robles region, there's a lot of people who are excited about that, who want to support family, who want to support real farmers. And I think that the magic of the wine industry is that there's room for all of us. I'm grateful to those large producers who perhaps are at a price point that everyone can afford, and they put wine on the dinner tables of families who might have not otherwise may have not chosen wine as a beverage of choice. And so it's really this big and collaborative community that works together to create space for a number of different types of producers.
How does that happen, that you have gotten an entire community to work together for a common goal? That sounds like something that we all aspire to do, but you actually accomplish it and do it extremely well. How did you bring up that idea that says, "Hey, if we all work together, I've got an idea. I've got a dream and I really want to go make it happen." I mean, how did that conversation happen?
Well, it's truthfully not just me. We've got, one of the great things about the Paso Robles region is that the people who live and work here and are in this community are extremely innovative. Our roots are in agriculture, which is different than a lot of other industries and businesses. In agriculture, it's really important to help your neighbor. And a lot of times in the wine industry, your neighbor can be your best advocate, whether that's a recommendation from a customer who comes to visit in the tasting room, whether that's, a distributor partner. So in our industry, being collaborative is really important, and the rising tide floats all ships. When one of us succeeds, we all succeed. So within the Paso Robles region, I've been really thankful to have had tremendous role models, not only my family, but our partners and really several others within the community that realize that when we work together, we're able to get so much further and accomplish so much more. And so that collaborative spirit is alive and well in this Paso Robles region. And I think that it's something that's sort of unique, but because we're up and coming, it's really important that we work together. So I'm just proud to be the next generation carrying forth that spirit of continuing success for everyone, as well as larger than just our little community of the Paso Robles area. And that's where Dream Big Darling is so important, and really trying to make this world a better place and create more space for people who are doing wonderful things.
Well, I definitely want to talk about Dream Big Darling, but when you and I first got to know each other, you said something really profound that I thought it was something that was worth discussing, which is, I mean, there in your region, you're not a big producer. You're not as, cachet as maybe you go to the larger in Sonoma or any of those that bring people from around the world to go visit them. But what you said to me, what is the secret to your success besides the collaboration, is that you went and looked for opportunities and maybe looked at things that other people wouldn't see as opportunities, and you turned them into them. So tell us a little bit about that, because I think that that's such an amazing foil for life and for, what are you willing to do to bring your dream to life?
Well, I think there's a couple of really great examples. For one, in 2005, we took control of the vineyard that is our estate vineyard that was planted on our ranch. And at that time, it was something that not a lot of people were willing to do, but we had a lot of faith in the region. We had a lot of faith in our ability to create success. And it was a lot. It was a lot of work. We have just under 1,000 acres planted, and at that time, the Paso Robles region was some relatively unknown, even more so than it is today. And so through hard work and perseverance and simply not giving up, we were able to create the success that we have today. And, necessity is the mother of innovation. And I truly believe that. And, we're grateful to be able to create a pathway for our success and create the future, so to speak. Because in other wine industries and in other regions like Napa and Sonoma and some other places that are very well established, they don't they have the luxury of tradition. In our region of Paso Robles, we are still trying to figure out what's absolutely works perfectly for us. And Cabernet Sauvignon is a huge, huge and important part of that success. It grows extremely well in this region, but it's taken several years to perfect the vineyard sites, our growing methods. And so, finding opportunity and creating partnerships with national distributors, with accounts, with other producers, with others that love wine has been part of our success. So it's not just one thing that leads to success. It's a number of small things that you do every day. Within the wine industry, one of the things I noticed in the last several years was that, and it's something that's become extremely visible or vocalized today in a number of different industries and businesses, is that we aren't as diverse as we probably should be. And I felt like that was a disservice to our industry. And so one of my goals was to help the best and brightest succeed. And so, and for me, that was helping lift young women within our industry to a spot where they would have more opportunity for advancement, but really so that they had more opportunity to help our industry in a way that matters, that would help better resonate with consumers and with the trade and really with the world. So that's been a huge part of something that I champion and truly believe is important. And that's why we founded Dream Big Darling, along with several of my close friends and colleagues, to help really push our industry forward and push women in the workforce forward.
So tell us a little bit more about Dream Big Darling. What was the evolution of it, and what is the purpose of it today?
So this is certainly a passion project. I've been lucky enough to be around a lot of successful people, including the Ancient Peaks ownership, my family, and the Filipponi and Rossi families, who have been great examples of how to dream really big. Almost dream bigger than you think you can ever accomplish. That's the only way that you'll really be able to do incredible things, is to have this vision in your head. And then my grandmother, who was my biggest mentor, she always called me darling. And she always was kind. She had kindness in her heart. She extended a warm smile and kindness to everyone that she met. And I remember being at her funeral and there being like 600 people there, and she was in her 80s. And I just remembered thinking, wow, she touched all of these people because she was kind and generous and loving. And she wasn't a famous person. She wasn't a wealthy person, but she was rich in a number of ways. And so to me, that's really what success is all about, is how many lives that you can touch and make better. And so Dream Big Darling is our way of helping pay it forward to the next generation, and remembering that kindness is really important, and you don't have to step on one another to get ahead. It's all about doing your personal best and trying to live those dreams and goals and aspirations that you have, and being kind, and paying it forward when you have the opportunity to.
Well, I have said many times on this show that, that old idea of being each other's competition is first of all, it's false, and it's never been true. That was something that somehow we all inherited. But I've been trying to advocate for the idea that rather than seeing each other as competition, see each other as our greatest assets. And I think that you've put that same thought and that same philosophy into practice with your organization. You are literally working with these young women and seeing that, look, I want to be your asset, because then someday you can turn around and be an asset to somebody else. This life and this hand that we've been given is not always easy, but it is much easier when we do it all together. So tell us a little bit about what the results have been of your organization.
It's been pretty incredible to think that you can start with just the seed of an idea and watch it, get plant and grow and see the effects. And we're 3 years into our program. And so I think we've yet to see our best results. But, in talking to the attendees who have been through our program, we call them part of our tribe. It's been really touching to hear the stories of how that this program, and this retreat that we host annually has come into their life at a point where they really needed it. And it just gave them this charge and this rejuvenation on where they see themselves heading. And all of a sudden the future is so much clearer. We have had several of our guests and tribe members, be on major publication covers in this past year for a number of initiatives. We've had, tribe members working with universities to create programs for, $250,000 annual programs for people to get into agriculture that are BIPOC students, which has been really amazing. There's just so many things that have happened that as a result of, and these women they were going to be successful no matter what, but just being part of this community has been really inspiring. And then lately, we partnered with a Jägermeister who we created a program with the Millinger Group. It's a 6-month one-on-one and small group coaching program for professional development. And, we were awarded over $250,000 to have this program run annually to help these young ladies. And it's just been an incredible blessing. And I think, truthfully, it all started because of agriculture, because of that sense with our family and the families that I work with on a day-to-day basis saying, don't complain about it, be part of the solution. And I think that's the fabric of the American spirit. And I'm just so blessed to be carrying along in such a small way, but hopefully by touching the lives of a few people who are going to make a difference in the future.
Well, I love that you have followed a different formula. You could have followed the formula of so many other businesses that, they're only managing their business from the profit and loss sheet. And you didn't do that. You've done something very different. You do what's right for your community. You are innovative. You're willing to take risks, and then you're willing to give back with whatever you have. I think that might be one of the reasons why you were named a Wine Enthusiasts 40 under 40, and that happened just in 2019. How was that experience that you were recognized amongst many amazing women to be on the cover? I encourage everybody to go and look at that from 2019. She's on the cover and she's 40 under 40, and it's really amazing. So what was that experience like? First of all, what was that phone call like when you got that phone call that said, "Hey, guess what?"
Well, it was kind of it was a big surprise. Wine Enthusiast magazine is a terrific publication and is something that I love reading. In fact, I've got that same issue for this year's 40 under 40 sitting on my desk, and I can't wait to dive in and learn all about the next generation. But it was such a shock. But I was so thankful. My husband, before I went to the photo shoot in San Francisco, I was like, "Oh, geez, what do you know?" They tell you bring something that's special to you, that makes you stand out. For the images, because the photo shoot is a really fun and exciting part of the campaign. I remember my husband saying, just wear what you always wear. Don't just go get something out of your closet. And it's so funny that, sometimes just being yourself is what makes you different. And I think there's so much power in that, from a marketing perspective, from a sales perspective, but also just from a human perspective. And so being selected to be on the cover was such like a shot in the arm for our whole region, because it was like, wow, you don't have to be fancy and perfect to stand out. You can just be who you are. And so that in itself was really exciting. And it was fun to really represent the whole community, because the history of our region is really agriculture. And so I was just proud to represent our family and our community in such a way that really helps everyone.
I think it's because you did things differently, and you were just yourself. You are literally on this cover in jeans, a leather jacket, and you're holding a rope, as if you're roping cattle, which is such a great cover. But I think, like I said, you did things different. You were true to yourself, and you made sure that you were representing the people that brought you, and you give back to that. I think that is phenomenal. And I think that's a lesson that more individuals should follow, as well as companies. Have you been approached by other organizations that has recognized that you've built something different and they want you to teach them how?
Well, I mean, there's nothing super formal, but certainly with Dream Big Darling, there's been a number of people who are very excited and recognize that there's value in helping the next generation grow, whether that's within their organization or within their community. And so, yes, I've certainly been approached by a number of both individuals and businesses to help spearhead different initiatives and just really interviews and different things. So I think what's exciting about that is when others see something and they see success, it's inspiring, and hopefully, they think about, how can I incorporate these types of initiatives into our own program? How can I help make this work for us? Because it is about making the community better, but when the community is better and your employees are happier and you're able to highlight the individual talents of people within your organization, that helps the bottom line. That helps the product. If you've got everybody doing their best work, you can bet that the outcome is more productive. So who doesn't want that?
What would you like to see in the next generation?
Gosh, that's a wonderful question. I think that you get people who are not afraid to go after what they want, who are financially conscious, so they don't put themselves in a situation where they have to do something perhaps that isn't ideal for their passion, and not be afraid to try new things, but really to develop a community around them that's going to help them succeed. And I think that's what I've seen from others, is they develop this community around them, and they lean on it throughout their career, and it makes for an extremely rich life. It makes for a dynamic professional career as well.
And along those lines, and I know that the past year has been really challenging, and you haven't been able to do your weekend retreats for Dream Big Darling, and hopefully we'll be returning back to some sort of level of normal where that's possible. But what would you like to see for your future of Dream Big Darling?
Oh gosh, I think just more of the same. I think more of the same, although right now we're unable to host retreats in person. But we have been extremely successful in creating virtual events. And I think that however we're able to touch people in a meaningful way, that we continue to do that, whether it's in person or virtually. I think there's nothing more powerful than being together. But for the time being, we continue to develop ways and partnerships that allow us to meet our goals. And so I'm really excited about this program Flourish that we have in partnership with the Millinger Group, that is funded by Jägermeister, Moss Jägermeister US, which has been really amazing in giving people tools and encouragement so they can and really reach the next step, not only in their career professionally, but hopefully create great balance from a personal perspective as well.
With all of these initiatives that you have created, and with the business that you've created and your foundation, what has been the biggest surprise for you?
Gosh, the biggest, for one, Paso Robles continues to be the drink of, the biggest surprise. Wow. It's, I gotta say, it's this, there's a couple of them. One is that so many people from around the country are finding our little region and just absolutely falling in love with it, and creating this opportunity locally for people like myself and others to live and work here and create a dynamic career and business. So that transformation has been really incredible. And being with our families and building Ancient Peaks Winery and our Margarita Vineyard from something that was nothing, was zero, to what it is today has been incredibly inspiring. But then from a philanthropic perspective, something that's so inspiring is the amount of people that want to give back. And, if you make it easy on them, where they simply give their time, or they're part of a panel discussion, or perhaps if it's easier for them to donate money or an item or whatever, you make it easy. And it's just incredible, the amount of generosity that there is in this world. And there's so many people that want to make it a better place, that the work from a philanthropic perspective has really restored my faith in humanity. It's been pretty amazing.
Your story is inspiring in and of itself, of being able to create an entire business from, like you said, nothing. It was just empty fields. So you had a dream, and you made it happen. You literally thought, I can do this. And you dreamt as big as you could possibly think of. And there were so many things that happened because of that. You've built a business from nothing. You've been able to help invigorate your town and influence the next generation. What if there are some people listening that are like, wow, that's really amazing, but I'm not in wine, but I'd really like to learn from her. Is there a way that they can participate with you in perhaps one of your organizations, or even donate their time or money?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would be happy to connect with them. And I would say, follow us on social media is a great way to stay in touch with all of the things that we're doing. And I'm sure Audra will be posting handles within this. And anybody who is excited about giving back and making a difference in their community, love to be part of that. And I would also say it's not me. You're so sweet, Audra, to say that I've done all of this. And I really cannot take credit, because there's so many people, even within our business, within our community, and within our nonprofit, who have been instrumental in really either creating this vision or creating a culture to allow others to succeed and help bring their dreams into fruition. So it's all about creating that community and that environment with the people that you surround yourself with, to allow for innovation and creativity, because without that, it's very difficult. And so I am so grateful for my father, for our partners who have really fostered and guided me to help bring these ideas to life and continue to champion not only the work that we do as a business, but the community that we're in, and the power of paying it forward.
So what is your next big dream? Because I love that you are a big dreamer and you're not afraid to go for it. You have no fear. You are not afraid to make your dream as big and as crazy as people will say, that's nuts, you can't do it. But you're willing to do it anyway and just work until you get it. So what's the next one?
Well, the next one, Audra, may not seem as big and as crazy. My husband and I have 2 children, and these last couple of years has been, has been interesting from a parenting perspective with schools, and so I think that the next dream is really figuring out the best way to hold everything together, to accomplish what you want to accomplish, and not sacrificing anything else that's important to you. And I think that sustaining yourself long term and making sure that you and your family and your priorities are in balance is what's really, the next goal for the next 12 to 24 months. And we'll see how it ends up after that. But, it's certainly exciting to see all of the great work that we've done, and great work gets you opportunity. So I have no idea what's going to happen next. So, I'm just, stay focused and sharpen the pencil and, sharpen the blade, as they say, to continue to do great work at every angle. And, I'm sure the future will be bright.
You have been so inspiring with your actions and just telling us about your experiences and how you've invested in your community and in your organization and in your town. I'd love to give you an opportunity to leave a final thought of inspiration to the audience, because I'm sure that there are many that are listening going, she's amazing. I want more of that. And I want you to give you that space so you can give them something to hold on to for the rest of the day.
Goodness, that's a wonderful question. I think the biggest thing to remember in life or business, or parenting, or giving back is, if you have a dream, follow it, and to hell with what everyone else says, because it's your dream, it's your life, and you get to be the one, who lives it every day. And as long as you're moving toward a goal that makes you happy, that's all that matters. So don't give a lot of thought to what others say, and just keep doing what makes you feel good, and stay on track.
Thank you for the reminder and the encouragement, because I think that there's a lot of us, because of this past 18 months, has started to reevaluate our lives and are maybe starting to dust off some of those old dreams and thinking that maybe they're worth chasing. So thank you for the extra oomph for us to be brave enough to go and chase them. So thank you for that reminder.
Oh, absolutely. And if you are in the store and want to try out a new wine for dinner, please grab a bottle of Ancient Peaks, and cheers to all of you.
It is a beautiful wine, and I want to give you an opportunity to let us all know where we can find your wine.
Well, nationally, a great place to find it is just through our website. That's ancientpeaks.com. We are in a number of different retail and restaurants. And if you've got a favorite wine shop, just go in and ask for it, and they can probably get it for you.
That is fantastic. It is a beautiful wine. I was very lucky to be gifted a couple of bottles of wine, and it is fantastic. You cannot go wrong with any of her wines. So make sure you go and check out her website and also get to know the family a little bit. I think that you'll enjoy that. Amanda, I want to thank you again for sharing your time with us, sharing with us your experiences of your life and your town and your dreams for what's next. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Audra.
I want to thank all of you for being here. and we'll see you again next time. That's our show. Thank you all so much for spending your time with me and continuing to support this show, this community, and our endeavor to change the world one interview at a time. If you have any ideas for a new show or for a guest that you'd like me to interview, please reach out to me at audra@womeninthearena.net. Thank you again for all of your support, and we'll see you again next time.
This is just the beginning.
That's our show. I am so grateful for each and every one of you and your unwavering support and your continued belief in this movement that has become much bigger than me, much bigger than just a podcast. It has become this forward momentum that we are all doing together. If you are ready, or you know somebody that is ready to tell your story and share your value with the world, please connect with me. You can reach me at audra@womeninthearena.net. I am so honored and thankful that you will share your story with me, and I'll make sure that it is well taken care of. I will never stop thanking each and every one of you, and I cannot wait to talk to you again next week as we share another woman's story and we celebrate her doing extraordinary things in plain sight. We'll see you next time.